These are the things I wish I knew when I first started my long hair journey that no one told me. I had to figure it out on my own. So if you are on your hair journey and you're struggling, this is the video for you, especially if you have curly, coily hair, okay? Because our hair be struggling. So, for a little bit of context, in my 20s, my hair would consistently break off. Like my hair would grow to a certain length and then it felt like it just stopped. But really, what was happening was that my ends were breaking off just as fast that I was growing it. So it was like for every inch of hair that I grew, I had to cut off an inch because my ends were that bad. So the first thing is, of course, getting yourself a good hair care routine. And I know that's probably like easier said than done, but that is where a lot of tweaking and paying attention happens. So the first thing you should be doing is paying attention to your hair. I find that a lot of people just do not pay attention to their hair. Your hair is telling you what it needs. Our hair is an extension of ourselves, of our health, and it tells us what we need or what our hair needs. So when your hair feels dry, it's not just telling you like it needs water, but it needs hydration. Dry hair is an indication that your hair is no longer hydrated. It's dehydrated, it's thirsty, and you need to give it water, but on the inside. So you're drinking water. So instead of just misting your hair, which is something that a lot of people will do, it's time for you to shampoo your hair. You need to wash your hair. And that is goes to the second tip that I want to give you is you should be shampooing with cleansing shampoos. Unless your hair is completely damaged, maybe you've gone like platinum blonde, you don't need to use these hydrating, moisturizing shampoos. You want to look for shampoos that are cleansing with sulfates or a good sulfate alternative that's going to give you a lather to remove all the products, the gunk from your hair. That is so key to getting that hydration into your hair. And then you want to lock that hydration in. And that is where your conditioners and your leave-in conditioners fall. So tip number 3 is what I wish people told me was that stop putting off your wash day. Don't put it off. Because here's the thing, especially if your hair is curly to coily, the drier your hair gets, the more tangle prone it becomes. Tangles are going to lead to breakage, all right? Because every time you have to comb and comb and comb our hair and get through those tangles, you are giving your hair mechanical damage. So there's heat damage where you're using excessive heat, and then there's mechanical damage where you are constantly manipulating your hair. So it probably is just like, but Scarlett, you're telling me that I should wash my hair more often, which is technically manipulating your hair, but that's going to cause less trauma to your hair than trying to get a bunch of tangles out. And it's going to rehydrate your hair better than if you wait for your hair to dry out, right? So you kind of like gotta pick and choose your battles. So for me, it's all about making sure my hair stays hydrated, which means shampooing it on a regular basis, as well as keeping my hair from getting tangled. And the longer you go between your washes, the more dehydrated your hair becomes and the more tangle prone it becomes. So the next thing that I wish people told me was that heat is not bad. Excessive heat is bad. Excessive heat will cause heat damage to your hair, and that's going to cause cracks to the cuticles. However, air drying is also bad for your hair because that's going to cause your hair to weaken over time. So you got to like figure out what is the sweet spot for your hair. That's why whenever someone asks me about how to straighten their hair, I tell them the best way that they should be straightening their hair with the least amount of damage is roller setting. And I know that's not going to work for everybody. I get it. But if you are looking for the least damaging way to straighten your hair, using rollers and sitting under a hooded dryer is going to give you the least amount of damage. If you're going to use a blow dryer, I prefer to use tension. So I gently pull on my hair and use low to medium heat to dry my hair in that state. And then I might do 1 or 2 passes on the high heat, but that's about it. So, and also trimming. You don't need to trim your hair all the time. You don't need to have a regular trimming schedule. Like sometimes they tell you should be trimming your hair every like 6 to 8 weeks or 4 to 6 weeks, depending on your hair. So here are the times that you should be trimming on a regular, like that, on a regular schedule is one, if you have a specific haircut that you want to maintain, like let's say you have a bob, so yeah, you should be trimming your hair to keep that look. However, if you are growing your hair out, you should be trimming your hair as needed. But before you even start your hair journey, if you have a lot of breakage and you don't want a big chop and you are transitioning to your healthy hair, then you would want to have a regular trimming schedule. So like maybe once a month you get like half an inch trimmed off. So if our hair is growing half an inch per month, then you want to trim your hair regularly until you remove all of those damaged ends of your hair and you have all the healthy parts. And then you can trim as needed. Like personally, I trim my hair about every once a year, sometimes twice a year, depending on how I've been treating my hair. So again, these are things that I wish someone had told me that I did not know, and now you know what I know. And I hope this helps.